Hello, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to another edition of the Wyntis Hall Show. If you all just give me a couple of minutes to share, and you all come on in the room and share with me too, I would appreciate that. I got a great guest coming up tonight, and you guys are going to just love all of the things that we're going to talk about, all of our topics, great information to be shared. So make sure you share it out while we share it out, and he's gonna share it out, and we're just gonna be a bunch of sharers tonight. We're just gonna share everything. So let me get to sharing so we can definitely get started because I am so excited to get started with this program. So give me about one more minute, and you can hear the phones over here clicking and starting and sharing and doing everything. And then I will introduce you to our guest. And while we are doing that, shouts out to A10 News Media Group and the greatest producer in the world, International Mick, Spacely Sprocket. He comes up with a lot of names, treating a lot of names. So we're
Yeah.
just going to see what he wants to be called today. But everybody come on in the room here. Let me share it to a few more groups from this page as well. People need to hear this information. Definitely got to share it to the Wyntis Hall show page. Gotta do that because that's the name of the show. Then as I do that and send it out to a few people. I'll mess that up on Messenger. All right, all right, all right, all right. All right, let's go ahead and get started, and people will join as they come on here. All right. So, again, thank you everyone for joining another edition of the Winters Hall Show. And I have with me today, everyone, good evening from Dallas, Texas. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, good evening, good evening. I have with me Mr. Trenton Bowens out of Benton Harbor, Michigan. And I know you guys are like, who is that? Who is that? Well, I'm about to tell you everything about him. But first, Trenton, I like all of my guests to introduce themselves. So, Trenton, if you would just give our viewers just a little information about yourself, and then I'll get right into everything that I want to talk about. But go ahead and introduce yourself to our A10 News Media Group family.
Well, first off, I want to say thank you so much for having me. I am Trenton Bowens. I am a former city commissioner, was one of the youngest ever elected in Benton Harbor, and I am now the vice president of Benton Harbor School Board, Benton Harbor area schools. I am a Michigander. For the past 20 years, I've stayed in St. Clair Shores, Chesterfield,
Oh,
and now I'm in Benton Harbor, Michigan. So I'm an Army brat. I got to travel across America and see different cities and communities and everything.
that's wonderful. Okay, so you got to travel. We call you Passport Trenton. We give nicknames to
Yes.
people around here. Okay, so that's good. That's good. And I'm glad about the school board because we have issues here, and like you said earlier, Benton Harbor is like a little Flint. We seem like sister cities. The water crisis and everything that we have going on, but we're going to talk about all of that. But the first thing, and I couldn't wait to interview you because I had my first chance to come to a wonderful weekend at the Michigan Black Summit. And when I tell you I had the best time, I learned so much. I got to do so much networking with a lot of wonderful people. You had some great panels. I'm sorry I missed Friday night though. I heard that panel was really great too. But just tell us about the Michigan Black Summit. This was the second year. I know everybody sees me looking up here because the TV's over here
Yes.
into the camera. But this was the second year that the Michigan Black Summit was put on and put on by you. So tell us about the Michigan Black Summit. How did you come up with it? What's it all about? The purpose, everything.
Well, growing up, my mom used to make us watch C-SPAN. I couldn't watch Fox News. I couldn't watch MSNBC. It was C-SPAN,
Okay.
and we had to watch the State of Black America with Tavis Smiley and all of
Mhm.
those legendary leaders. And we had to
Wow.
write a report after we were finished with it. And if that report wasn't right to my mom's understanding of what she watched, you had to go back and rewatch it and write another essay to make sure you got it right.
Mhm.
So when we got the trifecta in the Michigan House and Senate, I've noticed that we had lesser African American leaders.
Mhm.
And so often, Black folks are the first to save democracies and first to save and elect Democratic candidates and policies, but we're also the last on the agenda to have stuff done. So I said, how can we gather all of some of the African American population leaders in Michigan and have a Black Summit where we have a dialogue, we educate, empower, and become agents of change in our own communities and go back forth. So last year we did it for it was one day, and we
Mhm.
discussed it. We had a panel, and then I had people reach out to me and say this could be something really big. And I
Mhm.
said, okay. So we started working on year two, piecing the puzzle back together. When you think about the issues that we have in Flint and Benton Harbor, education, emergency financial
Mhm.
managers, water crisis, our crime rate. It's all of the pieces that we have and the social determinants of health. However, money often comes through our communities, but not to our communities. So we need to be having a seat at the table. So
Mhm.
we decided to go ahead and do this. Said, well, let's invite some people. Last year, the first year, I invited some of everybody. Everybody declined or didn't even respond. And then
Wow.
when we started getting more people involved and more Black leaders. We had the Black mayors. We had Michigan
Mhm.
Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson. We had Dr.
Mhm.
Ken Harris with the Michigan Black Chamber of Commerce. So we were able to galvanize and get more attention, bring more people, but that's not enough. How do we
Right.
make this substance? So right now, the first 2 years was the fluff and the show. Now we have to go in the dialogue. Like we like to say in Benton Harbor, we need the meat and potatoes. You
Mhm.
remember how your mom used to make you pick those string beans and then she would put it on meat and potatoes?
Right.
So back to that. We got to get to, we got the green beans, but we need the meat and the potato seasoning.
Mhm.
So higher than our demands. Were you at our gala?
Yes, yes,
A
I
gala,
came for the
sorry.
gate of yes, yes, I came. And
And
I
that was
missed Howard
something.
Hewitt though.
Sorry, we took too long. We can never start on time. We got to do better on that. But we were
That's
even
okay.
able to do that. Yes, we were even able to bring people together and celebrate the unique culture that we are. And Black is beautiful, Black is powerful, and we have
Mhm,
to be proud of who we are and where we come from.
mhm. And you know what? It was so funny when I walked into the gala. I said, "Oh my God, look at all of these people. You couldn't even find a parking space." I said, "But you know what? Next year, he ought to make everyone that attends the gala, they got to attend at least one session of the summit."
Oh, we on it. We on it. We on it. We on it.
Right.
You know, it's our culture. We like to party, and then we
Right.
forget the substance, and then we start complaining on social media. How come nobody said this or nobody told me this was going on?
Mhm,
But we make priorities on certain stuff. So that's one thing that we are working on. How do we get more people to necessary information?
mhm, mhm. Are you I It's a little lag on your end. Sometimes you're going in and out, but that's okay. I think. we picking back up.
Sorry.
Can you still hear me? That's okay. Okay.
Yes.
So, but yeah, I thought it was beautiful. The turnout was wonderful. What were some of the things that tell our viewers some of the things that you touched on? Some of the panels and the discussions that we had this year at the Black Summit.
Well, we Monday was Friday. We talked about the voting's right with Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson, and then
Hmm.
we talked about the black dollars, where we had Dr. Ken Harris. He took us to school, educated, empowered us. And one thing that we don't have in Benton Harbor, I'm not sure about Flint, we don't have a black chamber of commerce. So that's something that he announced that we are developing in Benton Harbor.
Oh, wonderful.
Then Saturday we had the one and only Gail Perry Mason,
Hmm.
and she came in and we talked about finances, and she gave us information, and it was just a fireside chat. She motivated us, inspired us, and then we had workshops both days. One of the workshops I had to teach was about the
Yes.
community bill fund that we're having in Benton Harbor. We talked about social determinants of health. In Benton Harbor, for example, it's always a bridge, a train track, or a river that divides the communities. And on one side of that community, it's can be white, and on the other side it's black. And when you look at Benton Harbor, for
Hmm.
example, studies show in our community we are quicker to die than across the bridge. They have a 17-year life expectancy longer than
Mm.
their counterparts, less than a mile. So we talked about the social determinants of health. And
Hmm.
the other thing we talked about was grant writing. So many people want to write grants but don't know the basic fundamentals of writing grants. Do you have a 501c3? How do you start? So we had several different workshops where we were able to empower people with those. And then that Friday evening, we had the Black Mayors from Pontiac,
Hmm.
Ypsilanti, Lathrop Village, and Benton Harbor. They discussed navigating while being black. Being a
Hmm.
black leader is two times harder than your white counterparts. You go through
Absolutely.
scrutiny, and then you go through mistrust. People, and then we like to not trying to we like to tear each other down. I don't know why we like to do it, but it's one thing that we like to do. So
Right.
it's tough being an African American leader. And we talked about navigating while being African American in that Friday evening. And then Saturday, we had a panel with different leaders throughout the state. And some of the information, how do we empower our communities?
Hmm. Now tell us some of the people that was there
We had Shokwe
Saturday.
Pitchford Saturday. We had
Hmm.
Shokwe Pitchford from Benton Township, that's our sister community. We
Hmm.
had Lachey Simmons from Muskegon. We
Yes.
had Dewan Robinson from Flint. We
Hmm.
had who else? Ann Arbor Pastor. You're
I
gonna make
forgot
me
his
forget
name.
his name.
Yep, I'm thinking like, oh, I forgot his name too.
Yeah, I can see his face right now. It'll come back to me. We had a pastor there. We had Marion Triplett, Western Michigan University.
Hmm.
And I'm thinking that's it. I can't think of the pastor's name in it. Please forgive me. He's from Ann Arbor.
Okay.
We have Brother Troy Muhammad too
Oh,
from
right, right.
Detroit.
Minister Troy Muhammad. Right.
From Detroit. So we had different leaders throughout the state, and we just were able to discuss and come in. And where do we go from here?
And then we also had Saturday. We had Sherry. Sherry spoke, and she's going to be coming on here in a couple of weeks too.
Oh,
When she
Sherry,
talk about.
Sherry Gay Degano. She also came. Sorry, I think I'm experiencing the lag now.
Yeah, yeah. That's okay. I'm just talking through it. We can work through it. That's fine.
Okay. Yes, Sherry Gay Degano was a firehouse. I've always loved me some Sherry. From
Hmm.
when she was a state rep, when she ran for Congress, and Sherry came in and talked about the redistricting lawsuit,
Hmm.
Benson versus Aggie, and how we are supposed to, make something clear: anybody but Benson for governor 2026. But Sherry
Right.
bought the fire.
Yes, and Sherry was coming on next week, but she double booked. And then so she said at the end of the month they're supposed to be going back to court about the redistricting. So I'm going to bring her on the first Thursday now in April, and she's going to talk about all of it and tie it all up together for. So you make sure you tune in for that show too, Trent. But everybody else, I
Yes.
mean, Sherry is a powerhouse. I was so excited. It was a great opportunity to network. Next year is going to be even bigger and better. I'm excited to come next work next year. Will it still be in Benton Harbor next year?
Yes, it's going to be in Benton Harbor. Hopefully, what we're getting ready to implement is other communities. I'm working with my attorney now. They're getting licensing and everything together. But we want other communities to host these summits, and the annual one will be right here in Benton Harbor. We don't want to
Okay.
lose the birth city of it. So
Oh,
February
okay.
7th and 8th, we've
Okay.
already got it
Okay.
lined up. Benton Harbor, we got Midnight Star will be joining us, and we are working on the legendary Evelyn
Mm,
Champagne King.
mm. You know,
And
I
the
can
theme
sing
for
a little bit too, Trent, if you need me.
okay, the theme for next year is the Black Dollar, Black Power,
You said the black dollar, black power.
and the Black Vote. Yes,
Okay. Say it one more time because you went out on us.
the Black Power, the Black Dollar, and the Black Vote.
Okay. All right. Now, see, that all ties in together. So I'm
People are going to
excited.
start announcing they're running for governor.
You said
Sorry.
what?
Is it me? I'm on Wi-Fi. Sorry. They're going to be announcing that they're running for governor and all of these other offices. And again, the black dollar. We got to let's talk about the black dollar. Let's talk
Right.
about the black power that we hold as the state. You look at the most recent presidential election with the uncommitted, and you see our Arab brothers and sisters. And I'm sorry if I'm using the wrong term on that, but you see their voting power and how they organize uncommitted. We're slowly losing our power in the state of Michigan. How
Right.
do we harness that power and become a force to be reckoned with?
Absolutely. Absolutely agree. Well, I think you did a wonderful thing. You just came up with something. You brought it into fruition and it was just beautiful. And I hope it does nothing but just grow bigger and better. Hopefully, we can get, A10 News Media Group to cover some of it next year, and not just have my phone up there. We're
Yes, come
always
on,
available
we're
to
ready
come and
for you
cover
all.
it. So,
You
yes.
see all the hotels we got in Benton Harbor, so its capacity is not an issue.
Right. I see that. Very nice hotels as well.
Yes.
Very nice. And so everything was beautiful. I just want to commend you on that again. And so let's move on. Let's talk about some of the other things that you're doing in Benton Harbor. And so I looked, and you also have another organization that you are a part of or that you're over. Tell me what Neighborhoods Organized Against Racism. Tell me what's all of that's about. Because I
Well,
know in Benton Harbor you got Saint is does it have to do with St. Joe being right there and Benton
yes.
Harbor working together? Okay, go ahead. Tell us about that.
So in Benton Harbor, we are unique. As I stated, we're considered one of the poorest cities in Michigan.
Hmm.
However, after the George Floyd situation, everybody thought it was okay to just wave a Black Lives Matter flag or
Right.
put a Black Lives Matter sign in their yard and thinking they were speaking truth to power. And it was more than just marching, it was
Hmm.
learning about your implicit bias, it was learning about you know what is your black friends going through, what is the black community dealing with. So
Hmm.
neighbors organizing against racism was to inform, to educate, empower our fellow Caucasian brothers and sisters about systemic racism, about social inequities that we face here. Why is it that people in Benton Harbor are dying quicker than their counterparts? How do we bridge the gap?
Right.
And how do we show that we're stronger together? What's affecting, it's funny that we're even talking about this. 10 years ago, people in Benton Harbor were crying that they cannot afford rent because
Wow.
rent was becoming high. Now you see our counterparts in other communities that are not the African American race, they can barely afford to live here. So, how do we solve that? One of the things that we do is also host local book reads. I don't know if you ever heard of the story, the Eric McGinnis case.
No.
Eric McGinnis was a young guy that grew up in Benton Harbor. got killed by some of his white counterparts. He was found in the lake about 7 days later.
Wow.
And we were able to host a book club. His murder remained a mystery for 30 years. And we
Wow.
finally got, right after we opened up that book discussion, we brought the author in.
Hmm.
It started gaining attention. They opened up the investigation. They were able to find out the murderer who murdered Eric McGinnis. Now, he committed suicide. Just this last week, we found out that it was another person involved. The
Mm.
attorney general decided not to open up that case, but we were able to educate and empower people about that story and how can we do better. One of the things that we were able to do in Benton Harbor, we're going through a process of gentrification, and our history is slowly being wiped away.
Right.
We have to learn how to deal with the black dollar and how do we bring revenue into our communities but still keep your African American populations there. That's
Hmm.
another topic. But we were able to get a park named after one of our slaves. His name was June Woods.
Mm.
And this was back in the 1860s. And so often in Benton Harbor history, you don't hear nothing about white blacks back in the 1800s here. It was all white. So we were able to, we're a small organization, we're grassroots, but we're able to empower, motivate, and do little grassroots things in the community.
Mm. Okay, that sounds very interesting. And I also heard you speaking on because I was looking around the room like, where's Percy? Where's Percy? You were talking about working on issues, some issues with the jail, with the local jails. Now, what organization is that? What are you a part of that does
So
that?
that's part of Neighbors Organizing Against Racism.
Okay.
Just probably in Berrien County alone, our population is 14% of African American.
Wow.
We have about three towns. It's Niles, Michigan,
Okay.
Benton Harbor, Michigan, and Benton Township.
Okay.
Those are pretty much your African American communities. And Niles, you could say that's about 41% African American.
Okay.
Um, in Berrien County alone, our jail population is at 58% African American. That means
Wow.
triple your population incarcerated is people of color. So
Mhm.
we have a problem here.
Yeah.
Some of those people of color are in jail for just minor offenses or cannot afford bail, bond, or basic, a $300 bond is arm and a leg for some people.
Hmm.
I've witnessed it. I've seen individuals that have sat in jail because they could not afford tether fines or tether fees. And it creates a system where they're losing their kids, they're losing their job, they're losing their house, and it's still not creating a solution, it's creating further problems. So what Neighbors Organizing Against Racism implemented is the Berrien Community Bail Fund, and
Okay.
that is why we had the gala to raise money for that.
Hmm.
um, it's to assist individuals that have nonviolent crimes. Should a person that's battling substance abuse be stuck in jail? We often say, let them dry out, let them dry out. That's
Hmm.
tough love.
Right.
But are we really addressing that
The
issue
issue. Right.
of mental
Right.
health or substance abuse treatment? So that's where we want to bridge the gap. Instead of them sitting in jail, let's get them to a rehab center. Um,
Yes.
can a person be in jail if they're stealing milk? We know how high food is,
Hmm.
especially for babies. Let's provide them the resources and
Right.
get them out of jail. So
Right.
that's what the community bail fund is. If they can't afford the tether fine, we assist in providing the first 2 weeks of the tether free. One thing that we are getting ready to partner with is local agencies, so some of these people can get skill trades. Getting out of jail, and obviously something's not working. So let's get you on the right path.
Right.
Let's get you, back being a productive citizen to society.
Hmm. And I'm
One
gonna be. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
is one person I studied this. We've watched him go to jail. He battled substance abuse, got out for trespassing, and went right back to jail the next day for trespassing. So jail is not the solution for them. But so we have to look at that. How do we redo bail in Michigan as a state? How do we get rid of cash bail?
And and it caught my eye, especially when you tell your story and I listen to Percy tell his story about working with the individuals in jail. And I don't know, something about that is just really sparking something in me because, like you said, we put people in jail for just substance abuse, just stealing some milk. We let them out, but we don't give them the resources to survive when they get back out. I mean, it's
Mhm,
a reason why this person was on drugs. Let's get them the
mhm.
help while they're in there. So when they get back out, they can be useful in society. They can be valuable to society. You understand what I'm saying?
I
It's
perfectly yes, and it's sad because that's how our county governments, and I don't know how other counties run, but in Benton County,
Mhm.
they have to still pay a fine for sitting in jail. How do you fix that?
Right.
How are we're quick to write grants for low education and everything, but we're not writing grants or helping these brothers and sisters that are sitting in there. And how do we reduce that?
Hmm.
And a lot of people are sitting in jail that we found out haven't even had a court trial. So they're presumed innocent. And then some of them take a plea just to get out and plead guilty just to get out.
Right. Because they
And it,
don't know their rights.
and it will mess them up on their record, getting a house,
Mhm.
a loan, a job. So we have to fix that. And so that's why we created the Berrien County Bail Fund.
I love that. I love that. And also when you talk about the black vote, like I didn't know with Percy talking, and I think you had mentioned something about it, which made me ask Percy something about it. Like the people in jail, they can still vote. Like that's a whole
Yeah.
voting base that people
Yes.
just forget about. And so that's not fair either. And people they just throw them. In my opinion, they just put them in jail and they throw them away. So I'm
Yes.
glad and I applaud you on the work that you're doing in Benton Harbor, and I wish you much, much, much continued success with that program as well.
Yes.
Now,
Thank you.
you said that you were a former county commissioner, one of the
City
youngest
Commissioner.
elected city commissioner. Now, is
Yes.
that the same as city council that we have here in
Yes.
Flint,
Yes.
Michigan? Now,
Yes.
tell me, how was that, darling? Huh?
Well, it was transformative. I got elected at 23. We
What
were
year
under
was this?
um 2013
Okay.
because yeah, 2013. No,
Okay.
I'm lying. Yeah, I believe it was 2013. I got to go back and look. I
Okay.
should know it by heart, but I try to erase that memory. Um,
Okay.
we had to deal with a unique time in that time. Jennifer Granholm, former governor, put an emergency financial manager in Benton Harbor.
Mm,
And when I was running, I had the mission that I was running to save Benton Harbor.
mhm.
And this is one thing I've learned in Black leadership. A lot of us want to run for office because we have the passion that we want to save it, but we don't have the skills to save
Right.
it.
Right.
And that was a big thing I've learned.
Mhm.
But we had the emergency financial manager named Joseph Harris, and he decided to take the power away from the local elected officials, and he was like a dictator. So you couldn't do anything. Then the state decided that they wanted to change the route, and they bought a young guy named Tony Saunders. He
Okay.
became our EFM. He stayed for about a year and a half, and gave us some wiggle room. We had to negotiate. He let us put on the ballot the city income tax. I was the founder of the city income tax. I think Flint has one, correct?
Yes.
So Benton Harbor did not have any. And you got to look at Benton Harbor. One of the issues that we were having is we were spending more money was going out than coming in. So
Mhm.
we were bouncing checks and everything. And we have more renting and subsidized housing, Section 8, and low income housing than homeowners in Benton Harbor. So how
Mm,
can we tap into that money at the same time?
mhm.
Um, we had a major $80 million North America office in Benton Harbor. So I implemented the city income tax. We asked the residents to vote on it. They voted down. The corporations and everybody. Um, we had like $3,000. They had over $20,000.
Okay.
They defeated it. As a city commissioner, I brought that to the forefront. Then a few years later, we were able to get it passed when they seen it. But being a city commissioner was a unique experience.
Mhm.
Will I ever go back into city politics? I can't tell you yes or no on that.
Okay, okay. Did you stay involved? Did you guys, because you said you were one of the poorest cities in Michigan. I didn't think anybody could beat Flint. Did you guys receive any ARPA money? Did you
Oh, we received, I think the city of Benton Harbor alone got over 10 million.
okay.
Um, I think the school district, and
Oh, we ain't got there yet. Don't go too
okay,
far. We gonna
okay,
save that school district.
okay. But I believe the city got over 10 million, and that went for water bills. It went for, now they fixed some of the streets. They're cutting tree lines, and they're doing some transformative stuff that we have not had. But it shouldn't take an influx of a pandemic to bring resources in our communities.
Right. Absolutely right. Any home improvements? Did you see any ARPA dollars used toward home improvements in the
Yes,
in
there
the
was some home improvements, and some
okay.
of it also went to. Now we're getting ready to build homes in Benton Harbor. It's a project that's getting ready. Two projects that will build over 150 homes,
Wow, low income?
low income and market rate rent. You know
Beautiful.
what we have in Benton Harbor is called the missing middle. Like
Mhm.
I would qualify where I don't make that much money and I don't make the low income. So some of those homes will be for the missing middle. One, we're getting a grocery store with our ARPA funds that we did not have. We have no grocery store, no drugstore in Benton Harbor.
And you said you just got 10 million, Trenton. Just $10 million.
Yes,
dollars.
10
Do you
million
know
for the city of Benton Harbor.
do you know Flint received over 90 million and not one home has been fixed?
Mayor Neely, what's going on? Like, I'm about to get killed for saying that. Mayor Neely, what's going on? No,
Oh, he's going
but
to tell you everything is fine, just like he told the mayors down there. Our water is fixed. It's 10 years this year in
mhm.
2024 that our water has not been fixed. And I hear that Ben Harbor also went through the same thing with your lead in the water and unclean water, and you got all your pipes replaced in a year.
Well, the issue with Benton Harbor is a little bit different with Flint
Okay,
because
do tell.
our water was not poisoned as it's been portrayed on the national media and
Okay.
throughout the state of Michigan. They use poor black communities as this feel bad story. But the pipes to the homes, we have older homes. Those were with lead. So that's why we did not have nobody dying from lead or any of that nature. And that's why it was quick for them to do the repairs to our homes.
Mm,
So drinking the water and everything was perfectly fine. But to the pipe that connected the water from the city to the homes, that's what the issue was.
okay. But
And the
still,
state,
they all got replaced.
they got replaced quick and efficient. Now, I don't want to make excuses because it's been a while since I've been into Flint.
Hmm.
Um, we're only 4.3 square miles. And because the governor was up for reelection, I'm sorry, Big Gretch, I got to throw you under the bus. They hurried up and put resources to make this die down.
Well, Big Gretch said she was going to come here and do all of that for us too. And I see one of our viewers said, wow, they did all of that with $10 million and Flint did nothing with 94 million. Yes, A10 Flint. We heard it right here. They did a lot. New
Yes.
homes. You said 100. How many did you say? How many
I
homes
believe
you
it's
got?
going to be 150. It's going to be Project T, and we're going to have homes downtown too. 80 apartments downtown.
That's wonderful.
So
That's
next year, when you guys
wonderful.
come to Benton Harbor, part of my goal for the Black Summit is to rent a charter bus to give you guys a tour
Okay.
of Benton Harbor.
I would love that. I would love that. So next we're gonna touch on some things. Let me see if I can find the picture because I try to do my little research here. Make sure I get it all together. So you are also vice president on the Benton Harbor School Board. And some of the major accomplishments, which I pulled right from your Facebook page,
Yes.
the Benton Harbor Area School Strategic Plan Development, Balance Fund, balance for the first time in 14 years. Renewed stakeholder support in Tiger Pride. Increased teacher and administrative pay. Teacher retention and recruitment incentives. Increase in state testing scores. Increase in graduation rates. Establishment of joining Lakeland Athletic Conference. Esports program development. Improvement in active facilities district wide. Updated playgrounds at Fairplain East. Janitor pay increase. Replacement of the boilers at Fairplain East and Benton Harbor High School. Improvements to the track and field and football field. Each class, let me repeat this, each class will have a student library, hiring of a superintendent of schools, reduced teacher turnovers, air conditioning classrooms, and debt forgiveness. Throw the whole damn Flint school system away. I don't understand. So yesterday, let me catch you up, Trenton. Yesterday, over 100 teachers called over, I think it was 119 teachers from the United Teachers Union of Flint called off because years ago they took a 19% decrease in pay and they were promised that they were going to get it back. It never happened. The teachers told me that they don't even get a cost of living annual raise. Okay. They had a tentative agreement that was agreed upon in October, but in January, everybody changed their minds. So our teachers are leaving, going to other districts for increase in pay. Our test scores are horrible. We have students leaving left and right, going to other school districts. Our seniors are graduating with the fourth grade math level, fourth grade reading level. And Trenton, how can you come here? Because I don't know
You
how
know,
were you able to do this?
the reality for us is first, Michigan has to redo public education as a whole. Um,
Absolutely.
we have to give our kids a fighting chance. Now, I that sounds our 10 points and points that you read, they sound glorious. They sound great and everything. But we had to give our kids a fighting chance. We
Hmm.
were almost getting ready to get shut down. We told the governor, hell no, you won't do it. And we had other leaders across the state help us.
Hmm.
Um, even if our kids are test scores are increasing just a little bit, that's a major accomplishment. The
Absolutely.
issues that Flint have are similar to Benton Harbor. I don't know how many charter schools you guys have. In Benton Harbor, we have three charter schools, and we're only 4.3 square miles.
Mm.
And two of those charter schools are doing worse than our public schools. So, how do we give our kids a fighting chance? How do we fix that? Some of those accomplishments that you read off, we were able to use ARPA money. I believe the school district got 32 million. And our kids have not had a playground. They have not had air conditioning rooms. Are just last week or this week, we voted on improving our track field. That was a $1.8 million.
Hmm.
We placed our boilers in two of our schools. We have not had a school and building built since probably 1960. So
Wow.
our kids are in outdated schools. So we're now able to fix some of that up. They'll be able to go into air conditioning. Some of this is done by public partnerships with the Whirlpool Corporation and
Hmm.
the Benton Harbor Education Foundation and foundations and the state. You never really take stuff for granted. When I went to St. Clair Shores, this was back before they had white flight. I was one of the only black kids in that school, and I didn't know how vital a class library was. I was the student librarian for our class, and
Okay.
I would have people donate books. And then you think about it when you come into Benton Harbor, none of the students had class libraries. That's something that should
Mm.
be a no brainer.
Right.
And we are now able. I think we're the only the state just sent out a press release. We're the only school district so far that is getting ready to roll out this new urban libraries, and we let the parents come in and pick the books that they want to read. All the other schools are teaching Swahili and I'm sorry, Spanish and German. We're teaching our kids Swahili. Um, so we have to get back and reinvent public education as a whole.
Now, how big is the school board? Is how many member
It's
body?
Benton Harbor used to have over 20,000 kids,
Okay,
and it's seven board members, and we represented seven different municipalities. Because of the gentrification and the dismantling of public education and school of choice, which only affects African American schools, we
right.
see Benton Harbor only has 1,100 students now.
Okay, okay. So I think
So,
Flint is hovering right around 3,000, if I am
so
correct.
yes, we are at 1,100 students, and we still have issues with certified teachers. How do we reinvent? One of my things that I want to bring to Benton Harbor is a 4-day school week, a longer school year.
Mhm.
But why is it that public education in Michigan, you can put all of the money you can, but what's going on?
Now, do you have a lot of parent involvement in your
You
schools?
know, we have an active parent base. Of course, I would love to see it more, but we
Right.
do have parents, involved that are rooting every step of the way. One of the things we're getting ready to bring back in our district, because the parents have advocated for, is driver's education,
Okay.
and that's
But
being used for ARPA money.
now, you're saying ARPA money. Is it difference between the ESSER funds? Because here they're telling me
But
that the
yeah,
schools
ESSER
had.
fund, sorry, ESSER fund,
Okay,
sorry.
okay, ESSER funds. I wanted to make sure we were on the same page.
Yes,
So,
sorry.
so how much money in total did Benton Harbor School District receive with the ESSER funds?
With the ESSER funds, I believe we got, because it's 3 rounds, and I want to say total rounds, because we're almost done spending, we got 35 million.
Trenton, I just don't understand the amount of money that we have received here in Flint and what we have done compared to the pocket change that I hate to say pocket change that Benton Harbor received. And it seems like you guys just took off running, doing what was best for the residents with the ARPA money and also what was best with the children with the ESSER funds with the school district. I applaud you for that.
Well, it always matters on leadership. It's okay. You
Yes.
have to elect stable, quality leadership. Listen to what they say, but watch what they do. So let them out
Yes.
talk, but watch their actions.
Hmm.
And that's one thing that we had to learn in Benton Harbor is, let's vote for the doers and not the talkers. Who
Yes.
you have at stake in those seats plays a vital role. The superintendent on down to the trustees.
Hmm. And that's very, very true. It's very true. Now, what programs or incentives did you guys create? And because our teachers are leaving at record numbers, so
Well,
what happened?
we did a teacher raise. We raised our teacher pay with our contract negotiations. You got to
Okay.
remember, when the state was getting ready to shut Benton Harbor down, school
Hmm.
district down, we lost teachers. They played a big role in the dismantling of our school district. So we're in recovery zone. We're still on life support, but we were able to give them they lost a 10% pay cut. For years we
Okay.
told them we were going to give it back. We finally gave them that back. We were able to
Wow.
negotiate a better insurance policy. And as we focus on rebuilding and rebranding and re-imaging Benton Harbor High School and Benton Harbor area schools, we hope to give them more pay raises. But we were able to negotiate that. So one thing that I do know that we have an issue with is certified teachers, but that's not a Benton Harbor issue. It's a statewide issue. How
Hmm.
do we, dealing with this new millennial children? I grew up where if I acted up and embarrassed my mom was coming up to the school and embarrassed me in front of the class.
Mine
And
did.
having flashbacks because she did it a couple of times and you better not cry.
Right.
Um, so, but some of these parents, and not to speak ill on the parents, our parents are more of our parents, students, friends than parents. So
Hmm.
we still have issues, but how do we fix that?
That's a good question. That's
I
a
mean,
very
it
good
is a
question.
problem when you have Billy that cannot read,
Hmm.
but Billy can play basketball,
Hmm.
and we're shooting, go Billy. But Billy does not have the basic reading, writing, and arithmetic. What are we doing? I remember when I was in school in Detroit, and we were trying to read a book, Robinson Crusoe, and I had some learning issues. I was considered special ed in that school,
Okay.
and they wouldn't let me read. So I remember Northwest Airlines was going on strike, and I told the teacher I'm going on strike, and we didn't read. After the end of it, they called my mom. I got a whooping, but I got
Hmm.
to read that book. So back then we wanted to get lost in a book.
Right.
And now we let the generation of tablets and cell phone and social media.
Hmm.
How do we reinvent? And I think that's a question that we as a black community, we as a state, how do we get back to that?
And we had some viewers today on when we were talking about the school board earlier today on the show. Like everybody can't dribble a ball. Everybody can't throw a football. So we have to teach education. Education is the most important thing. What if you get hurt? Then what you gonna fall back on?
Hmm.
I understand sports is great. Sports plays a vital part. It's going to be big in the school district, but education
It's
should be
key.
number one. Exactly. It's key. That's how you make it through life. Education. You can't
Hmm.
go in a job interview and show a basketball. You got to go in that job interview and show your talent, your skills, your degrees. That's what
That's it.
matters. And
You
we
know, I
have,
have a
go ahead.
cousin. I have a cousin. People don't know he has Benton Harbor roots. He was number one in the draft.
Oh, wow.
This was about a few years ago, probably 2014 or 15. He
Okay.
was playing for Baylor. And when the NBA draft came and he was getting ready to get picked, he found out he had a bone disease
Wow.
and he could not play for the NBA. And he had to
Wow.
eventually reinvent himself.
Wow. And it's like,
So
what did he do?
he ended up writing a book. He eventually got cured from the bone disease and played overseas, but he lost the opportunity to make mega millions right here in the United States. He had to
Right.
go overseas and play.
And you see how important education is.
Yes.
Eh, so I just want I applaud you again for everything that you've done on the school board. Now I always have one little hot seat question.
Yes.
I did read that it was 5 unsuccessful recall attempts on you about Boilergate. Now, what is this Boilergate about?
You know, we always have unique citizenship, people that always are not going to agree with you. And
Absolutely.
the thing that got our communities and what the crisis that we're in is we would just vote to approve stuff. Where we're voting, they wanted us to vote on replacing the boilers, and we didn't even have the cost of it.
Mm,
We didn't know how much it was going to cost, but they said we need it right now, so vote yes to replace it. And I said, no. How much is it costing? How much does it cost for? Do we need an A&E firm? Are we going to go to electric or gas with the heat? How much is it going to cost to tear down the walls and asbestos? So because I asked questions, I
mhm.
had a unique citizen that just moved here from Indiana.
Okay.
Um, she was from a different persuasion, and she wanted to advocate that she cares for these poor black children in Benton Harbor. And
Mm,
four of us voted no, but she decided to come after me.
okay.
And it never succeeded. She never
Mhm,
got a signature, and it never took off. And they tried to misalign my character. They tried to say I didn't want our kids with heat because it was all political.
mhm,
So, one thing I've learned about Flint and everything, you need people like, and bless his soul, my condolences go out to you all. And Flint, you need people like Eric Mays
mhm.
to raise hell when the hell needs to be raised.
Right.
Um, and being the president of the board, vice president of the board, I could not do certain things. I could not communicate because it's a certain way that you're portrayed in the community. And they try to really dirty me out and take me out the game because I'm up for reelection this year. So
Okay. Okay. Well, I wish you well in that and continue
thank you.
success. You guys made a lot of strides from what I've been reading. It seems like you're very involved. Like I said, the summit, the average person just can't pull off anything like that. That was beautiful, bringing everybody together, like minds, focusing on a goal. Like you said, you had Jocelyn Benson there. We really, really have to push the black vote because so
Mhm.
many people, and I know you're going to agree with me, they just take the black vote for granted. We were
Black vote
taught
for
just
granted.
coming up, vote Democrat, no questions asked. It's a Democrat, we're voting for it, and I think that's where we messed up along the way.
Well,
People, go ahead.
I'm going to tell you how far I go back, and I didn't realize it until I got older. My dad was a not Jeffrey Fiker. He was a Republican,
Oh,
and growing up, I did not realize that until I'm like, wait a minute, you had this man's sign in your yard. Do you know what he stood for? And he's like, there goes your guy. Jeffrey Fiker was running for governor then, and he
uh,
lost big time.
right.
And he was for the other candidate. And I'm like, whoa, daddy's a Republican. Did you realize that? So I was always taught never just to go party in line. My mom let me find out. And, I could get crucified now for saying this, but I was a big John McCain fan
Oh,
until he ran
wow.
against Obama.
Okay.
And I had to switch, but I believed, in some of that philosophies. So I had to evolve and become on the other side. But we got to teach it. It's more than just the Democrat Republican. We got green, independent, and everything.
Hmm. We
But the
do.
black vote is often taken. They want our votes, but they don't want our candidates.
Hmm.
They want our money, but they don't want our candidates. And that's why I'm so behind Hill Harper for the United States Senate.
Yes, I seen him there that Saturday night. I got a chance to talk to Hill. He was there. Matter of fact, he did a little speech. And
Yes.
I thought that was nice for him to introduce himself to the crowd and, just get a chance to tell people, hey, this is who I am, this is what I plan on doing. And that's what we have to do. We have to make sure that the people that we put in office have our best interest at heart. We don't need to vote for people because, oh, I know him. That's my cousin. We seen him on TV. He looks nice. She looks nice. We need to make sure that they have our best interest in heart. And we
Mm.
all must play a part in that. Not just me, not just you. We all must collectively come together and hold these politicians accountable. Now, does your
You know,
state, one more question, does your state representative, when you talk about debt elimination for the school district and how the state wanted to come in and take away Benton Harbor schools, what part did the state representative play in that? Was she a big advocate? He or she?
well, we finally got a Democratic state rep
Okay.
um, for the first time in probably 50, 60 years. And
Wow.
he was a big advocate for the Benton Harbor debt forgiveness. He ran on it, and he played a vital role in getting it forgiven. However, guess who was not at the Black Summit?
Mm, okay. The state
So
rep. Okay.
the state rep. It
Mhm.
didn't make sense. We had Sarah Anthony was there. You had all of these other people there, but your own state rep was not there. Not even a letter or anything. And that's some of the things that you have to demand. It's one thing to say I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this and throw out these cherries to us. But when we
Right.
need you and everything, where are you?
Right. That's what matters. Where are you when we need you? So
Yes.
Trenton, tell us what else? What else does Benton Harbor have coming up? Do you have planned with some of your organizations that we can
Well,
learn about here in Trenton?
today I just got off the phone with the MEDC, Michigan Economic Development Corporation. We're working already for the Black Summit, securing sponsors for that.
Okay.
We have the PGA. We did a public and private partnership in Benton Harbor, where
Okay.
we took some of our polluted land with our brownfield dollars and rehabilitated it to a Jack Nicklaus golf course. Um,
Wow.
and we have the PGA here. We have Jeffrey Osborne coming and Gerald Albright in May. So we're pretty excited and getting ready for that. And we're just ready to continue building. We're getting ready to go on a tour across the state, to Saginaw, to Flint, to Detroit, Inkster, East Point, and just listen to what the communities want and try to get these mini Black summits planned in those communities so we can bring it all back together in Benton Harbor.
Oh, that's gonna be wonderful. So yes, like you said, a lot of little mini Black summits. I remember Sister Audrey that was down there. She was like, "We need to have something like this in Flint." She was just, "We need to do this in Flint," and because it was great, it was great. Like minds in one place talking about the ideas. The workshops were wonderful, and I think that that needs to happen, like you said, all across Michigan and all of our urban cities, and then coming together collectively once a year and just bringing it all together for the big
Yeah,
piece of pie.
Miss Hall, I got to tell you, this was for us by us. The programming, the back of it, mean you see some of the Black people that are some of the first. If you look at that state trooper, Mr. Hall, he was the first Black Michigan State Police. He was from Benton Harbor. This was a for us by us. We used Black vendors, Black
Yes, you did.
event decorators, Black everything. Even at our VIP greeting, I don't know if you were there. We had a Black caterer there. One
Mhm,
of the things that we had to do is we went to several people begging for money. Even
mhm,
our local foundations told us no. So now
mm.
that they see this, everybody wants to come, and we're like, no, we don't need your help now. So,
Right.
well,
Isn't
we
that
do,
how it
but
works?
yeah, we really need your help. But because you didn't want to help us in the beginning, um, we went to a local company, and it was like they didn't believe. Black empowerment is dangerous,
Mhm.
and that's what we have to remember. When we're getting empowered and educated, we're a threat to the system.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely. Well, I thank you so much. I
thank you
thank
for
you so
having me.
much.
I'm honored to even be on your show. One of my relatives called me from Flint, and they was like, "So you're going to be on the Wyntis Hall show?" I said, "How did you know?" She said, "I seen it on your Facebook. I'm gonna be watching." So I bet you she's getting ready to call me. I just want to say thank you so much, and
No,
it was a
thank
joy to have you.
you. Thank you. And I can't wait. I hope to see you again before next February, but I can't wait until the Michigan Black Summit 2025. I know it's going to be bigger and better than ever. And all of the great works that you are bringing to the city, I hope you just send out a pamphlet to Flint so we can find out how to use our ARPA and our ESSA funds too. Just a little
Mayor
PowerPoint
Neely,
for us.
okay, I can say something because I don't think he's watching. He's the chairman of the Michigan Black Mayors. Come
He
on
wasn't
now.
he wasn't there though.
No, no, he
He wasn't
wasn't.
there. Mm-mm.
But come on now, leadership matters,
Mhm.
and that's one thing I've learned. If you don't have the right leadership, it matters, and people don't like women leaders. And I've learned that in our African American community, for some reason, we give our women leaders a hell of a hard time, and
Right.
some of those are some of the best leaders you can have.
Mhm. Very boisterous, like me.
Mhm. But sometimes you have to do that to get things done.
You do,
You
you
have to
do,
do it.
just to
You gotta
shake it up a
raise.
little bit.
You have to do it to get things done. But I've known, I was a big fan of Karen Weaver.
Mhm,
Um, Bless her heart. Flint, Flint is unique. It's rougher than Benton Harbor. I do know that much.
mhm.
But I love to see you guys go. And I used to watch some of the meetings just to see your council meetings and everything. So
Well, you continue to watch them because they're gonna continue to be interesting, I guarantee you that.
yes, yes, yes.
Well,
And
thank you
once
so
again,
much. Any
much
closing
love.
words?
No,
Thank you.
much love. Our condolences from Benton Harbor to the city of Flint and them Eric
Yeah.
Mays. He was one of the people we wanted to invite to the Black Summit,
Oh,
and we didn't
wow.
know if he would come. And then this happened. So much our condolences, much love. And I think we beat you guys a couple of times in basketball back in the day. So we still
I
number
don't
one.
remember. I don't remember. You probably could tear us up now with our poor little team. But
We still number one. Yes.
well, thank you so much, and you have a wonderful evening and much continued success on all of your programs that you're doing. And I hope to see you soon.
Yes. God bless. Have a good one.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Bye bye.